What was your question?
I don't know if I really had a question. Essentially, the idea is without some sort of fundamental basis to, you know what I mean, ground your morals into, it's all subjective. It's all people's perspectives.
Yeah, what do you mean by subjective?
So, I mean, I'm just using the basic definition of subjective. You know what I'm saying? So
What does that mean?
it'd be perspective independent.
Perspective, and what is so perspective means stance independent?
Let's see. Let's get
Yeah,
a good
like not
definition.
depend. I don't know what you mean by perspective. You just mean like, you can be like a moral realist and like still hold like perspectival warrant for moral claims, right? Like this is
So
like
again, it
fine.
doesn't answer the question. What is it based on, though?
Whoa, wait 1 second. You already, but your claim was that if something isn't based on God, right, then it must be
Yep.
subjective, right?
So so it's not something. It would be morals.
Okay,
So
if
if
morals
morals,
aren't based on God, then it must be
yeah,
subjective. Okay,
right.
okay, then here's the issue, right? There are plenty of other positions, anti-realism, that are not subjectivism. It's already false.
Explain how. What is it based on then?
So, for example, right, we have positions like moral error theory, right, that hold that all moral claims are false, and then actually none of them are true because of moral facts being metaphysically queer, which just means metaphysically odd. Another position is non-cognitivism, which holds that moral statements aren't truth-apt. Subjectivists hold that there are true moral statements, and they hold that they're truth-apt. They just hold that they're relative to a subject of somebody's attitudes, right? They're relative to somebody's preferences. So when I say
Right.
X is wrong as a subjectivist, right, the subjectivist, all the subjectivist means is X is against my preferences, and that's just true relative to them, some indexical component. It just means it picks out them, right, and it says that
Right.
it's true accordingly.
Right.
Okay, so your statement's already false, right, because there's two
Why?
other anti-realist positions.
I don't see it, but no, because you're not answering the question.
I did answer.
How are you
Wait, but
grounding?
wait 1 second. You realize that the claim was already false, right?
No. Nope.
Wait, so the
I
claim was if
yeah,
God does not exist, morality
yeah,
is subjective. And then I
right.
said there are two other anti-realist positions. So the
Are you trying to
statement, the
say that
conditional was
there's
false. It's a false condition.
okay? So just the fact that you're using other people's perspectives just shows you how subjective it is.
That I'm using other people. Wait, that I'm talking about other positions, and
Right.
so the fact that I
That
can
proves that
talk
it's
about other positions means that you can talk about like other positions, right?
no. Listen to what I said again. So the fact that you're already looking at other people's perspectives is showing
What
you
do you?
that morality is subjective.
How does it do that? Can you give me like a argument?
So if person A, B, C, and D each don't agree on a certain moral topic, and they all have their own subjective views and opinions on that moral topic, then you'd have to agree that morality is subjective
No.
unless you had some sort of objective basis to go on.
Wait 1 second. No. What do you mean by objective? You mean a perspectival, right? Like not according to a perspective. So wait 1 second. So by perspective, do you just mean like preference?
Yeah, opinion, preference,
Okay,
perspective.
opinion, preference, attitude. So just use the word stance. That would be the term that's used, right? Why would it be that if atheism is true, right, then morals would be stance dependent?
So if atheism is true, then there is no basis for morality, and that you can't say to one person or the other person that they're right or wrong because there's no basis on what is right or wrong.
Okay, so do you understand, like, when you ask the atheist this question, it's kind of a misnomer, or not misnomer, like a misleading question. It's kind of like asking, right, like if grass is green, then how does Superman fly to Mars? You know, they're
No, I
like
wouldn't.
two unrelated things, right?
So the question is very simple. What are your morals based on?
What
How
are
do you come to the
my moral? Well,
conclusion?
I'm a moral naturalist, right? But like, and moral realist. So like, I'm
But
gonna
that,
hold that there are stance independent moral facts,
right.
that they're propositional, and that some of them are true. Um, Example, I'll give you a really trivial one that's true. Killing babies for fun is wrong. Um,
Why? Explain why.
because they conform to ordinary, like natural, moral, sorry, ordinary natural facts and properties, which we would call moral properties. And the reason why we call them moral properties is because they actually conform to a natural kind, like an actual natural kind of properties called moral properties, right? That is apt to call them moral properties, right? Um, when you say, right, how do you ground ethics? Well, I just think that they're grounded like any other types of ordinary natural facts, right? Like grass being green, right? Or
Well,
like,
grass being green
or like the
is
speed of light
observable.
being c, right?
Both of these are observable or measurable, while morality is not measurable. You would have to give me a reason why.
Wait, why did they have to wait? How is grass's greenness measurable?
You measure the chlorophyll and the light refracting off of it.
Well, wait 1 second. When you say measurable, what do you mean? Do you just mean empirically verifiable?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, like, I not every there are situations in the sciences, right, where everything's not empirically verifiable, where we have to infer, or we have situations of underdetermination,
Well,
right?
that wouldn't be science then yet. It would still just be a thesis or a theory.
You know, a theory is like a thing accepted by most scientists, right?
I mean, just because it's accepted by most scientists doesn't mean it's objectively true.
It doesn't mean that, but it's still accepted in the canon of science, right?
I mean, I don't know. You can grandstand for science all you like. I'm just saying,
Well,
you know,
it's not about grandstanding
if,
the science. It's about showing you that there are situations of epistemic underdetermination in the sciences, right?
so
Like,
then can you use science to determine morals?
you can use science to approximate certain moral facts, yes. Like we can go
What do you
look
mean?
at psychology and see how bad, how bad people feel whenever they get raped, and like, holy shit, rape is like awful, right? When we look at the
Well, so,
psychological facts
okay.
around it, and it's very
So,
apparent
so
to us
right.
when we see rape victims,
So
right?
that's a cause and effect. That's not exactly about morality. What we're talking about is
Wait,
if
how is
someone
it
got
not about
raped,
morality? No, I'm
it
not
doesn't
convinced.
involve morality. It involves a cause and effect on their psyche.
Yeah, yeah, and we see a cause and effect on their psyche, and we're like, holy
And
shit,
then
that's bad.
right,
And then
right.
we go and move
Okay, wait.
on, and
Yeah.
we try to stop rapes because it's action,
Sure, sure.
morals are
So
action guiding, right?
you could explain to me all the reasons why you believe it's bad, but that's still your opinion.
Okay, and you can explain to me all the reasons that you think God exists, but that's your opinion, right? Do you understand why this is not really progressing the conversation? You're just stating the claim over and over and over again. Can you deliver an argument?
The argument is without God there is no moral basis and you can't ground it in anything. It's just subjective.
Okay, what if I said what if I said this instead? Because you've gone back to this claim. I've explained to you like why and everything is subjective is false because there are moral statements. There are
Yeah, but the moral statements aren't
moral
based on
anti-realist
anything.
positions. In fact, the majority of anti-realists are not
Yeah.
even subjectivists. They're error theorists. So that's just false. We can just move that off to the side. Let's move it off to the side.
They're what?
We're moving past that. We're gonna go
No,
back to this.
I'm not. I don't feel like you've sufficiently, you know what I mean, back the
How did I
claim.
not sufficiently back it up? I just named you two other anti-realist positions. You were just like, well, that's
That's
subjective, bro, and when it's not. If you're an error
right.
theorist, they don't
Okay,
think that
so
there are any true moral
yeah,
claims.
if there's already more than one version of whatever you're talking about, then it's already subjective again. So you just
What the
added
fuck?
another
Wait,
layer of
just because
subjective.
there's many different types of theism.
Okay.
Does that mean theism is subjective?
No, you'd have to go through and find which one's true.
Okay, cool.
Only
So there's many different types of anti-realism. You have to go through and we'll find which one's true. Wow, surprising. So easy.
okay. Okay. I mean, if you wanted to go through each one and I could explain to you where the flaw is in their logic, I could. Can you give me a good example on how they think it's objective?
Okay, so I'll actually go through non-cognitivists, right? So tell me why non-cognitivists are subjective, or what's the flaw? So non-cognitivists take statements like murder is wrong, right, to be
Okay.
non-propositional and to be just
Right.
expressions of attitudes, like just
So
expressions of belief, right?
how did they come to that conclusion?
Well, they came to that conclusion because moral statements for them do not fit into any of the verification principles that Ayer stated, and also that moral statements seem to be better fit to be explained as expressions of attitude.
So that that doesn't
So when I
that doesn't
say
even
like murder is
fit.
wrong, right, for a
Yeah.
non-cognitivist, they just think it's boo
Yeah.
murder. There's
So
no,
that's their opinion.
oh my God. But can you tell me why it's false?
I could if I use God.
So you have to presuppose God to prove it false.
Yes, because otherwise you can rationalize murder in a million ways.
Wait, but there is no like when I say murder is wrong for non-cognitivists, right? It being wrong or right is just non-cognitive. There's no like there's no fact to the it's not even true or capable of being true or false. It's like the question. Like if I asked you a question right now, could a question be true or
Okay.
false?
Could a question be true or false?
Yeah.
Um, the question itself isn't really a statement or of anything. So are you saying that they're not even making a statement? They're asking a
They don't even
question.
think moral facts make like truth apt statements.
Well, that's just but they make a truth statement by saying murder is wrong.
Yeah, they think that when you say wrong and right, you're saying boo and hurrah instead.
So that's their then they believe that that morality is subjective. Then
Wait, no, because it's not even capable of being true, right? Subjectivists think that morals are capable of being true.
okay, so these people don't believe in morals. Then
Yes, but they're not subjectivists.
well, that doesn't matter. Then they don't believe in morals anyways.
Well, you claim that all moral anti-realists are subjectivists.
Um,
You
so
claim
far
that you
you haven't.
cannot have God. Morality
Yeah,
is subjective. I
right.
gave you an example of a non-subjectivist and moral anti-realist position, and then you're
But they
just
don't even
like,
believe
well,
in.
that's just
They,
wrong. And then I'm like, okay, well, cool. I
yeah.
agree it's wrong too, right?
Okay. Well,
But like,
that's good.
but like, you realize that's not a subjectivist position, right?
Well, that's fine. I mean, I didn't realize that they thought that morals. I didn't realize they didn't believe in morals. I thought you were suggesting they did believe in morals because you were making moral claims.
No, they think that moral claims are just they're a moral
Oh,
anti-realist. They think that moral
they're
claims are
nothing.
just like not truth apt at all.
Right. But I mean, that obviously isn't true, right?
Well, I mean, not really. I mean, you can run the Frege-Gauge problem on them, but they have solutions to the Frege-Gauge problem, right? They have like Gibbard's solution, they have Blackburn's solution, they have, you can run those problems on them, embedding problems on them, and they have solutions. The issue is that, their solutions are empirically verifiable, right? And we haven't gone out and actually empirically verified them yet. I
Are
don't
they
think we have.
actually though? So they are empirically verifiable. So they're objective.
In
It's a
terms of
true.
their solutions to the embedding problem, they are. I can go out as a moral like non-cognitivist and then go test for whether or
Okay.
not
Okay.
whether or not agents tend to purport their tend to express their moral attitudes as if they were beliefs, right? Like that would be a Blackburn solution, right? Like that's something that we can go and like say about belief states for Blackburn, right? Like and another example, because I think you're not. Another example is moral error theorists. They don't even think that there are any moral facts, right?
Okay. Well, so if they don't believe in morals, then there's still no morals without God, right?
Okay, wait 1 second. But you claimed, right? No God equals subjectivism. There is there
Yeah.
there is no there the issue is that there are other like positions other than subjectivism. That was my whole point. And
I mean, you can say that, but these positions sound subjective. So
how are they? What would a morally subjectivist position?
I'm sorry. Say what was
Because
the?
I explained to you moral subjectivism, and I explained to you
You
how
can
that's
explain
different
moral
than
subjectivism
non-cognitivism.
all you. That's fine. It's still not objective. It's a subject. It's their personal preferences or views. You said
Wait, so if I say if the moral subjectivist, right, says like murder is wrong, right, and they say that's true, what do they mean by that's
Okay.
true? Like what makes that true for a subjectivist?
Exactly. What makes that true? That's the question.
Okay, no, like a subjectivist has a statement on what that makes that true. Subjectivists know what that makes that true. They claim to know what makes that true. They they
Okay.
they think that makes it true,
Yeah.
right? Because of their
Is
preferences. Their preferences make it true.
exactly.
So it's a statement about their preferences. A
Am I just not using the
non-cognitivist
word
doesn't think
correctly?
it's capable of being true or false. These are two
That's
separate. I don't know what you're having the issue with. I think you're just going in
I
circles
think
again. I'm
no.
chasing you
You're
around
having
with
this.
the
No,
ethics
no, no.
textbook.
The
Right?
issue is you're explaining something that is verifying what I'm saying. You're
How is it
suggesting that
verifying
they
what your
believe.
your claim was that it was subjective,
No,
right?
that's what
I
they
explained to you
believe.
why
They believe.
subjectivism wasn't the position.
But you're wrong, because obviously they think that it varies from person to person, and it depends on your perspective.
So non-cognitivists like, wait, how does it vary? How does the truth vary from person to person if there's no truth apt claims?
You, you were saying that murder is wrong, and they would agree.
No, a non-cognitivist, when you say murder is wrong, that's not even capable of being true or false for them.
Well, then that doesn't
They
even
would
fit.
think that
I
you're
don't know
just like spitting gibberish at them.
That's what I'm saying. Why does this fit anything then? This doesn't relate back to the original topic.
This relates back. Okay, so
if they don't
this
believe in
relates back.
morality, then
I
they don't
wonder if
believe
you
in
could like
morality.
follow a conversation. This relates back because you said if
Yeah.
God doesn't exist, then
Yeah.
morality is subjective. I named
Right.
two other anti-realist positions which weren't subjectivist, right? And then you are claiming again and 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 again that it's subjective, and I explain to you why it's not subjective, and then you're just like, well, how does this relate to the original topic? It relates to the original topic because this was what the fucking original topic was. The original topic was this. Do you not understand? Like,
I don't think you understand the basis of the question. The question is, where do people get their morals if not God?
wait.
And you're saying that some people don't even believe in morals, therefore something.
No, that was not what your claim. Your claim was if God does not exist, then morality is subjective because that was your corollary, or probably shouldn't say the word corollary, but I'll say it anyway. Corollary. And that was your secondary claim under. I asked you why to that, then you said, well, if God didn't exist, then morality would be subjective, right? And then I said, okay, well, there's these other positions, right?
That are wrong.
Not
They're just
subjective,
wrong.
So your claim is false. It's a
I
false
mean,
conditional. So then
it's not.
Do you know how conditional works? Do you know what a conditional is?
I mean, I'm just using basic logic. I'm not trying. Are you like a philosophy student or something?
Not only am I a philosophy student, I know what a conditional is, right? So a conditional is like an if then.
So you can use your fancy terminology all you like. Why don't you just speak plain English? Because otherwise, you don't make any sense. To be honest.
You claim earlier that I was using flawed logic to try to prove like atheist morality.
Yes.
Well, how do you know that my logic was flawed?
So you still haven't.
If my logic was flawed, then I'd be making syllogisms or something that were like valid or that were invalid and unsound.
Right.
What was the invalidity?
So all right.
Did I
so a second
affirm the
ago,
antecedent?
You can use all the weird terminology you like. It's not helping your argument.
This is really basic like logic.
I'm not a philosophy student. I don't spend all day doing this.
This is not like, but like you said, I was using flawed logic. What was the flawed logic?
Yeah, tell me. Okay, so explain to me how you can have any objective morality then.
Yeah, I'm asking you how they're related.
That's what do you mean?
So if I tell you if grass is green, then how are there aliens on Mars? Do you think that'd be a really weird question to ask me? Like, oh, they're not even related in the first place.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing now. What does that have to do with anything?
Like, if you ask me, just correlate two random, unrelated things, right? Like God existing and objective morality being true. And you're asking me, like, how can God existing entail, like, how if God didn't exist, how can we entail like objective morality being true? Right. And I say like, do you understand why that's like? I don't even think they're correlated in the first place. Like, I think you can be a theist and hold moral subjectivism. In fact, I think most theists hold moral subjectivism. Right?
Well, then they're not. Then they're not Christian, right?
Well, no, they are, right? Like, if you're holding okay, I'll give you an example. Do you hold that like God's like that moral law, right, is just God's command, right?
No.
No. What is moral law then? Where do the morals come from?
So God created moral laws, but it's not necessarily his command.
Okay, so they came from that God created them. Are they dependent on his preferences?
Nope.
How not?
It's not his preference.
Could God create a different moral law?
Nope.
He couldn't have created what's the contradiction in him not creating a different moral law?
Because morals are objective.
Wait, this is Euthyphro's dilemma, right? So if morals are objective already, then why do we need the God to create the moral law?
This is because God created everything.
Because God created everything? But wait, you said why couldn't God create a different moral law? And you said, oh, well, the morals are objective. That would imply that the morals right, already existed prior to God for him to not be able to contradict himself.
Well, yeah, because God's beyond time, space.
But they existed prior to him, in a sense.
No, there's no
Not like
prior to
temporally
God.
prior, but like prior in the sense that like the Father would be prior to the Son, right? Like,
No, there's no time in this sense.
wait,
There's
do
no
you know
prior.
like the Father is like prior to the Son, right? In Trinity,
In what sense?
in the sense of begottenment, like he begots the Son. It's not that
Oh
there was
yeah,
a time where the Son was not, right? But he begets the
well,
Son.
sure. Well, that's about the Son.
But
There needs to be a
that
father
implies
before
that he
there's.
was
You
in
know
a
what I mean?
sense, not in an analogical sense prior.
Well, the Son is an incarnation in the physical world where there is time.
Wait, with the Son, there is like there's like a divine nature to the Son, right? Like unless you
Sure.
think that the Son is
Oh
only a
yeah.
physical incarnation,
So
which would
you're
mean that
suggesting that
that's
yeah, yeah.
Arianism, that's a heresy, rejected at
Oh, okay.
Nicaea.
Now I see what you're saying. You're talking about Jesus before incarnating.
Yes,
Yeah, they were always just there together.
yeah, they were always there together, right? But there was still a sense,
Yeah.
right, that the Father was prior, and the sense is in the sense of begottenment, right? The Father begots the Son.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So you understand how, in this sense, right, morals could be prior.
This is like a Plato's form kind of argument.
No, it's not. All I'm saying is that if God if the reason why God can't create different moral laws is because of objective morality, that would imply that the objective morality were in that sense prior to him, right? It would imply that
Uh,
he was subservient. He was doing these laws. He was making these laws already because they were good and not because God made them, right? Which is Euthyphro's
yeah.
dilemma, right?
No, I don't know.
Okay, well,
I don't know. I don't even know the word you said.
it's called Euthyphro's dilemma.
Euthoprose.
Yeah, actually, I'll just send it to you. It's a really famous dilemma.
I mean, I okay, but again, so the question was, then, all right. So you're just upset at me saying that morals are subjective because you're trying to say that morals could also just be something else
Well, no,
besides
I'm saying
subjective
that
or
morals are
objective.
subjective in this sense because if morals could be something else,
No, I
right,
mean ultimately. I mean back to our original question. Are
if
you saying
morals
that
could be something else and they were dependent on God, I don't know what it would be dependent on except like his preferences.
okay? So let's step away from that for 1 second. So the idea is the problem that you were upset about earlier the fact that you think that morals could be something besides objective or subjective?
I mean, first of all, yeah, if you're an anti-realist, yeah, like I would hold that it's logically possible.
There's more options than just objective or subjective.
There are more options than just objective and subjective.
It's not an either or sort of scenario.
Yeah, there are even more extreme positions than subjective, like error theory, right? Like,
But that in itself would just be another subjective opinion.
how is it just because I have the opinion it's subjective?
Yeah.
I have the opinion that the Earth is round.
Well, you could verify it if you wanted.
Yes, I can verify it. I also have the opinion that there are other positions, right, other than anti-realists and anti-realists other than subjectivism. And like, holy shit, I can go to my philosophy department and find people who hold these positions. Wow, I've
So
empirically
you've
verified it.
explained that, but that just
Whole literature based
reinforces
on error theory.
the fact that it's subjective again, though. It's
How does
their
it
subjective
reinforce the fact
opinion.
that it's subjective? You haven't like you're just like saying, well, because somebody holds the opinion, it's not like
Yeah,
because whole people hold different opinions. It's subjective. People hold different opinions on fucking everything.
exactly. That's why it's subjective.
Okay, so if I say 2 + 2 = 4, how do I empirically verify that?
Uh, you take two, you add them together, you have four. It's easy. That one's an
How
easy
is that
one.
an empirical verification?
You can just count it.
How is that empirical? Where
You
in the
saying
world
that
do I find the 2 property and the 2 property?
are
Make the 4
what do you mean?
property.
They're pairs, so you could have two of anything, and you have
That's
two of
already
another
assuming
thing.
that there's the property in the world.
There is. It's obvious.
It's not obvious to me. There are nominalists, right, who hold that there are these mathematical properties in the world. There are
Okay,
moderate realists who hold
that's
there
their
are, right? There are Platonists who hold that they're in some
that's their
sky, right?
incorrect subjective opinion. That's their incorrect subjective opinion.
But like you're just saying that they're obvious, and I said it's not obvious to me, right? I don't have that seeming.
You okay? So I mean, you're really just are you actually trying to discredit math as like an objective
No,
empirical fact? You're not
I don't think it's
exactly, because
empirical. I think it's a
why
priori.
not?
Holy shit!
A priori. How is it not empirical?
I mean, didn't you already when you said we have pairs in the world, we have two pairs of two things, right? And then you're like, oh, well, we add them to before, right? I just take two pairs of two things, right, to just be like a name, right? I would take pair to be a name. It's not like a actual like instantiable property. It's called
So it's saying
nominalism.
that we have. It's saying that
It's
we
just
have
like
empirical
mathematics
confirmation.
is just a language we use to describe things. It's not like if there's
So
any mathematical properties
no,
to be described.
I don't know how much you spend on this degree, guy, but like you should probably get a refund.
How should I get? I'm like literally like sending like spending hours like and also I don't spend anything. I get scholarship.
Okay, well that's nice. So apparently, empirical confirmation for mathematical theories is a thing.
Yeah, and some of them, right?
So is there?
Like in like what you would
Yeah.
call it, Riemann zeta function. We try to empirically confirm it. But the difference is like when you talk about like set theory, like very basic mathematics, it's a priori, right?
Oh wait. Okay. Wait. Is there a singular truth or not?
What do you mean by a singular truth?
Is there truth or not?
I think statements can be true.
Okay. Which means that, and what does true mean? Does true mean empirical to you?
True for me, true would like be like some correspondence. Right? I'll just take correspondence theory for now. I don't want to actually explain like more complicated theories of truth. So I'll take correspondence theory. It's just correspondent. There's some truth maker present, so therefore the statement's true.
Okay.
I'll just take that theory now. I don't want to have to explain to you like more complicated.
You don't even have to explain anything. You just have to answer the question.
Yeah, I think there are one statements true. There are like one types of truth. One type of truth. Yes.
There's one type of truth, so that makes it objective.
No. Wait, there
Why?
can be one type of truth and then I can still index the truth, right? So if I say like um the grass is green and then they're like, "Oh, well there's over here the grass is blue." Like you ever seen monkey grass? And then I'm like, well, it's like kind of bluish green. And I'm like, "Oh, well I'm indexing to that grass over there." Right? It's
Okay.
true.
So that, well, I don't see how that helps anything. That's just
Well,
like a
that helps people because if you're saying that like moral subjectivists are just
yeah.
saying that they're indexing it to a specific mind, right? When I say morality is subjective, and somebody says murder is wrong, this is me as this hypothetical subjectivist is just going to point out to a particular mind, that person's mind, and say, oh, well, it's true that murder is wrong for them because of their preferences. Bam, like that's like the truth makers are the preferences.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Great. And now, could there be somebody else in the world? Okay.
For a subjectivist, there could be other people in the world that have different opinions, and then it would just be indexed to their individual minds.
Well, which would make it all subjective.
It's just relative to a speaker.
Right, which is subjective.
Yes, for a subjectivist. Non-cognitivists don't hold this view. Error theorists don't hold this view. Right? Certain types of constructivists don't hold this view. Right? So
but their views are that they don't even believe in morals to begin with.
Yeah, they don't think that there are any moral facts. So it's not even. So your conditional's false. Your conditional was
no, because that's their opinion. That's their subjective opinion.
Wait, W. If somebody says if God, right, doesn't exist, then morality is subjective, and then I name you anti-realist positions that aren't subjective, would that make the conditional false?
No, because it's still their subjective opinion.
How is this? Do you know what moral subjectivism is? Because I've explained this to you several times. I wonder if you have some like listening.
Yeah, They're trying to say that they don't even believe in the idea of morals because they
That's
believe
not
it's
what moral
subjective.
subjectivists believe. What do moral
That's
subjectivists
exactly
believe?
what it is. That's exactly what it is.
That's not. You're just asserting the. Can you name me like philosophers who are moral subjectivists?
No,
Can you name me philosophers who are non-cognitivists?
no,
Can you name me philosophers who are error theorists?
nope.
No. Okay, so you can't name me any of those three, right?
What does that have to do with anything?
What that has to do with anything is that you're obviously not even like educated on the position, right? Like so like why are you just asserting the claim and claiming you know what subjectivism is when you don't even know the people who talk about and
So
talk about
yeah,
subjectivism
yeah.
regularly?
Now tell me, do I have to know every single person's opinion in the world in order to make a truth claim?
No, but that's not like you have to know what people in you have to know what the words mean in order to make a truth claim.
But you're just taking terminology that has definitions and very easily explained things, and then you're just using people's names and you're using theories and all these random terminologies
That's not
just
what
to
I'm
make
doing.
it. It's all
I'm
padding.
just explaining
You're
to you
just
what the word
padding
means.
everything.
It's literally
Yeah,
just
but
what the
you're
word means, and then you're like, oh no, but the word
right.
actually means this, and I'm like, okay, well, who holds the word to mean this? And you're like,
So okay, wait, no,
I don't know. I just kind of
it
made it
doesn't
up. And
matter.
I'm like,
It
okay,
doesn't.
well then we're not talking about the same thing. You're just talking about some weird type of subjectivism that nobody fucking talks about.
Do I need to know who wrote moral subjectivism in order to understand moral subjectivism?
You could literally, honest to God, bro, you could just go on the SCP article for relativism, read the article, and then come back to me.
Do I need to know who the author is?
You don't need to know. But what do you know why? Wait,
Exactly.
Carl. Do you know why I
Exactly.
asked you? Do you know any of these authors?
Because you're going to try to make a exactly what you did. You tried to make a grandstand,
No,
like, oh, I go to
nope,
college, therefore I must know
nope,
more than you.
nope,
I've been studying
nope,
this, now I know more than
nope,
you.
nope, nope.
Yes,
That's not what I did.
that
The reason why I did
that is what
this
you
was
did.
I was like, why are you even making the claim, right? If you don't even know
Okay.
what the position is, and I
What
had
do you?
reason to believe that you don't know the position is because you don't know any of the authors that hold the position.
Well, they don't. That doesn't even. None of this even matters, my friend.
How does it not?
All of this is it's all a distraction because all you've done is re-verify the fact that these people have their own subjective
Wait,
opinions.
if I told you that general relativity implied moral relativism, and then I was like, and then you were like, then you actually found out I meant something different by general relativity, and then I asked you who came up with general relativity, and then and then you're like, oh, and then I'm like, uh, I don't know who made general relativity. I just saw the word relative, and I just thought it meant that. Do you understand why I think you might be like a little like you might have like a lack of epistemic humility?
All right, I'm making this extremely simple. You're trying to make it more complicated because I don't know why. It doesn't even sound like you agree
Ethics
with
is
these
an
people.
extraordinarily complicated field, right? It's like one of
No,
the
it's
most
not.
complicated fields in philosophy, like right next to philosophy of mind. It's pretty fucking
if
complicated,
you, it,
right?
yeah, if you try to list off 7 billion people's opinions,
But I'm not. There's not 7 billion people. It is three different unique positions that are different from each other.
and now
That I
tell
just
me,
named you. They're just three positions.
are
Is it
their
7 billion?
positions are
7 billion is very
subjective?
far from three. I know you can count, so try
Listen.
counting to three, and I'll try counting to 7 billion.
Their positions are subjective.
Because they
It's
hold
their
the opinion,
personal
yeah, but that doesn't mean that their
opinion.
positions are made true by people's preferences, right?
That means you agree with me.
Wait, but you mean subjective to just mean that people hold opinions?
Right.
That's not what anybody means by subjective.
Yes, it is. That's exactly what it means.
Can you like show me, right? Like,
You want me to like pull up the definition?
no, can you like when I go look up right now, if I go on Wikipedia and I look up moral subjectivism,
Okay.
what am I gonna find?
I don't care about that. I'm not trying to say it's moral subjectivism.
So
I'm just
if
saying
I
it
go on
is
Wikipedia
subject.
and I look up subjective,
Why are you using Wikipedia in
or
the first place?
do you want me to use the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy?
I mean, it'd probably be more accurate, right?
Okay, so if I look up the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy and I look up relativism or
Okay.
subjectivism, they usually use subjectivism as a type of relativism, right? And I just go
All
down,
right.
go to relativism, and I just go like subjectivism, alethic subjectivism. Oh, look, I found that. and I go into relativism. I go and I just go up and I just like relativism, roughly put, is the view that truth and falsity, right and wrong, standards of reasoning, and procedures of justification are products of differing conventions and frameworks of assessment, and that their authority is confined to the context giving rise to them. Relativism covers views which maintain at a high level of abstraction at least some class of things have the properties of beautiful, morally good, epistemically justified, not simplistic, but only relative to given to a framework of assessment, local norms, individual standards, and then sometimes it's preferences, right? And correspondingly, so I'm right.
I mean, no.
This is like
You're,
really.
so you
I
I don't
literally just read
honestly.
you
You're
off
making.
like the big boy encyclopedia that we all use when we like. If you ask your
You're adding
professor
like
how
an
do I learn more
extra.
about X, they send you to the Center for Encyclopedia, right?
I
So
mean, honestly, are you just like trying to misunderstand what I'm saying? Is that
no,
like the point of this
I'm telling you that
conversation?
you're wait. I'm not even misunderstanding what you're saying, right? Like you asked me well, this is what everybody means by subjective. And I asked you if I go on the Stanford Encyclopedia right now and look up relativism,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And I look up relativism, like what am I going to get up? And he says, well, you're going to give my
Me-
opinion. And then I'm like going and I go kind of, and it's got up my opinion, right? It got up my definition, right? So it's obviously the case that this is not like the what
Now tell
everybody
me,
means by subjective, right?
if someone becomes a relativist, is that their subjective opinion that relativism is true?
Wait, I'm telling you that just holding an opinion doesn't make the thing subjective, right?
That's what it is subjective. That's what a subjective fact is. It's their
That's
opinion.
not what it. Oh my fucking god! I'm going to like blow my brains out. Okay, homie, bestie, best friend, bestie. Like I literally looked up the definition for like subjectivism, right? Like just
Yeah.
the fact that you
Okay. So
hold an
stop. So
opinion
stop.
doesn't make the opinion
Why
subjectivism because the truth makers are not like attitudes or frameworks or local
subjectivism itself
cultures.
is is an opinion?
Oh my god! And belief in God is an opinion as well.
I mean, then we'd have to go into that essentially. Do you want to go
Is
into
it
the next
true?
topic then?
Like, wait. Do you not think that God forms beliefs?
We already
Like, if
talked
I
about
say like
this.
I believe in God, right? Do you not take that to be a belief or propositional?
I believe in God.
Yeah, is
I
that
mean,
propositional?
is it propositional? I don't understand how this relates.
Like, is it truth act?
Well, no, you'd have to go into why it's true.
Is it capable of being true?
Is God being real capable of being true? Yes.
Okay, and then you can hold a belief, right? You can hold the proposition in your head.
Okay.
So it's a belief. It's an opinion.
Okay, sure.
So you understand why this is a little useless, right?
No.
Okay, so do you understand why you just saying that because people hold opinions, therefore it's subjective, right? And then I gave the example of God is real, and then I showed that's also like somebody holding that as a belief would also be an opinion by your definition, right?
Right, but then we'd need to verify if God was real. You see what I'm saying?
Empirical. How do you empirically verify that he's real?
Using logic.
Logic is not empirical.
How is it
It's
not
literally the
empirical?
definition of a priori. It's like literally like the example we give for like a priori analytic statements. It's non-empirical. Do you know what empirical means?
Yeah, verifiable.
No. There are empiricists who don't believe in the verification principle.
So when you ask these questions, you realize that I'm just Googling the words and then telling you what the definitions are. And then you go,
So
no.
wait, that's not what's happening. So if you, I bet if I look up
I
like
mean,
empirical,
that's what I just
right,
did.
and then I
Yeah.
find like
Empirical.
empiricists, like for example
Based
William
on,
Bonner
concerned
Quine,
with,
who did
or
not do.
verifiable by observation or experience rather than
Oh
theory or
wait,
pure
did
logic.
you notice that there was the first? You went to the second definition, and then I looked it up. The first definition is relying on derived from observation or experience or experiment. Do you know that's like
Okay.
what's the experiment I perform to prove that A equals A?
I mean, that's it, right?
I just
That's
write
really
A equals
free.
A.
I mean, I would imagine everything that it is what it is, right?
So I have to so for A equals A, I have to go out to every single thing in the world and then go look at it and be like, huh, is this the same thing as itself?
I don't honestly. I feel like you've gotten so off track now that you're so far from the very start of the discussion.
I think
Is that
you're
you
just
also?
like dodging the questions, right? You're making really stupid claims and then you dodge the questions again. And then I make another claim and then you dodge the questions again. Then you dodge and you dodge and you dodge. You're dodging young, okay? You're dodging boy. Okay, you like dodging. I know
What
you
did
like
I?
dodging,
Can you
you
name?
know?
Oh,
So
all
like
right, all right.
I like I want you to try this again, right? So like how do I go empirically verify like A equals A? What's the experiment I do?
A is a concept.
And A is also a concept. And we can just say A is any fact, right? Anything is going to be equal to itself, any
Oh,
predicate.
are you saying like ABC like a variable, or are you saying like the letter A?
It's just like a variable.
Oh, how do you well, I mean, you'd have to give me the variable, no? I thought you meant just the letter A.
Well,
How do you verify that the letter
okay,
A is the letter A?
right? We're going to take A here.
Does A equal A?
And
Yes,
then
A
A is
equals
going to be
A.
like any object, right? Any object or any predicate or
Okay.
any subject is equal to itself.
So that you're
Any
right.
subject is
So
equal
your
to itself.
question is, yeah. Does A equal A? Yes, A equals A. It's like that's like
What's the experiment?
I don't know. It's like basic. It's not. It's verifiable. It's a mathematical proof. No, using variables.
What do you take verifiable to mean?
Verifiable proofs.
Are you just going to go look it up like a dictionary definition when we're what is verifiable?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we should, right? I mean, if you're trying to be so sophisticated about it, I mean, really, the basis of my argument wasn't really even that profound. I don't know why you're
But
going on
like
such a long tangent.
verifiable, like when we talk about verifiability, we're talking about usually in the verification principle, right?
Sure,
So what is the verification principle?
that is verifiable.
That's not the verification principle.
Why do you have to use? All right, let's
literally
find
like
out what it is.
you're just like
Oh no,
you're just pulling it out your ass, right? This is why I have to use
Ver-
these terms. You're just pulling out terms out
no,
your ass and then
you're
looking up
using such
Google
random
dictionary
terms.
definitions, and I'm like, oh, like we're trying to have like an astute, learned conversation here, right?
I mean, no, you're trying to have a bunch of random conversations that don't relate at
Because
all to the basic of the topic.
making like mistakes in different conversations, and I'm like, oh my god, like, ooh, man, this is gonna be a lot to
Bro, you're
unpack
the
here. We might have to take a
philosophy
couple
student.
days.
I don't read all these stupid books you're reading. I don't know all the terminology.
What's stupid about the books?
I'm not a philosophy student.
Okay, well, cool.
I mean, you don't read.
Look. I don't think this is going anywhere. I think you're getting a little angry, and I think you need to go get your chicken.
I'm the one getting angry. What are you talking about? You're the one that's cutting me off and telling me, and then going dodge. It's crazy, bro.
I think you're getting angry. So I'm gonna
I'm
go
not,
end
I'm not
the
even
conversation.
angry.
I'm gonna end the conversation.
I mean,
here.
sure.
All right. I think
Whatever.
I think I got enough from you. Bye bye.